Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. All right, gather around, let's get settled in. Today, we're setting up a virtual locker room chalk talk. So if you're looking to seriously elevate your game, you are in exactly the right place. Today is absolutely all about elite mental processing on the pitch. You know, we aren't just talking about improving your footwork or building up your stamina here. We're diving deep into the source material on Soccer IQ to figure out exactly how the absolute best players in the world manipulate the game using their minds. Let's get right to work.
So it's the ultimate question, right? How do you play faster? When most players hear this, they instantly think about hitting the gym, doing endless sprint drills, or just trying to increase their pure physical speed. But listen, we are going to debunk that myth right here, right now. While athleticism is obviously great, the true secret to playing faster is actually a whole lot simpler. You have to actively want to play fast, and you have to rely heavily on your soccer IQ. Fast is always better than slow. But that speed, it comes from your brain, not just your boots.
Okay, Section 1, the fast brain advantage, winning before the ball arrives. Let's dive into this. To really gain this advantage, you've got to realize a pretty fundamental truth. Your most important body part on the soccer pitch actually isn't your feet, it's your eyes. Your eyes are what prepare you to make the split-second decisions that let you play quickly and keep possession. You literally need to keep your head on a swivel, constantly evaluating your options, evaluating your opponent's options, and always asking yourself, all right, what's next? And what's behind me?
And here is exactly why keeping your head on a swivel is so absolutely crucial. Just think about this number, 90%. Smart players make 90% of their decisions before the ball ever even reaches them. I mean, let that sink in for a second. They've already scanned the field, they know exactly where the open space is, and, this is key, they have a backup plan ready to go if their first option suddenly gets shut down. They are practically playing in the future.
Now, what actually happens when you don't make those decisions early? Well, you get what the source material brilliantly calls the Unabomber pass. Yep, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a pass that gets delivered way later than it should have been, effectively just blowing up the play for your poor teammate. To avoid doing this, smart players do what we call playing from a spot. This basically means killing the ball close to you, immediately freezing the defender, keeping your cushion of space, and putting yourself in a proactive position so you can instantly play forward. The takeaway? Don't wait. Make the decision early.
Moving on to Section 2, communication and passing empathy, playing for your teammates. Look, soccer is a team sport, obviously, and your mental processing has to include those other 10 players wearing your jersey. Smart communication isn't just screaming ball at the top of your lungs. It's about giving really useful, concise information that actively helps your teammates solve problems out there in real time, based entirely on what they immediately need.
To really master this, you need to act as if the person on the ball is completely blindfolded and is totally dependent on you. This is the absolute essence of passing empathy. It means reading those passing lanes, finding the seams that run between players, and asking yourself, okay, if I was him and I wanted to play a one-touch pass, where would I actually want my teammate to be? You've got to deliver a pass that you would actually want to receive yourself.
So, as you're moving off the ball, you should constantly be running this internal monologue, asking yourself, does he need me? Running in advance of the ball is entirely dictated by the amount of pressure on the ball carrier. Think about it. If your teammate is under really heavy pressure, they desperately need a short pass, right? So you have to adjust your movement and check back to the ball to help them out. But if they aren't under immediate pressure and actually have time to turn and face the defender, well, that's your cue to get ready for a longer ball. You read the pressure and then you adjust the run.
All right, Section 3, proactive runs and diagonals, dictating the play. This is where the real chess match happens, moving without the ball. Running in advance of the ball shouldn't just be random jogging around. Like we just talked about, it is entirely determined by reading the current state of the game and actively manipulating the opposition.
Just look at the stark contrast between these two types of players. The average forward, they're totally reactive. They kind of just drift around, wait to see where the ball gets kicked, and then they chase after it. But the smart forward, they are completely proactive. They run to the exact spot where they want the ball delivered. By taking up that proactive positioning, you dictate the flow of the game, and you avoid what the text calls unwinnable races. You're actively judging your own speed against the amount of field that's left behind the defense.
And once you master that proactive movement, you can start executing what's called the splits. This basically means using your movement to force the defenders to communicate and make split-second decisions. The whole goal here is to make the defense move so much that they get totally unbalanced and flat. Once you catch them flat-footed, a diagonal run becomes absolutely lethal. By manipulating their defensive line, the player runs through one seam and the ball gets played right through another. It's just a beautifully simple, highly effective way to completely bypass an opponent.
Section 4. Escaping high pressure. Keeping composure when it counts. Now, obviously, the other team is trying their best to stop you from doing all of this. This is where your composure is literally everything. When a defensive trap is set and the opposition is suddenly swarming you, panic is your absolute worst enemy. Surviving these high-pressure moments requires having a structured mental checklist.
The most crucial thing here is making sure you're receiving the ball correctly when you're under duress. So put your coach's hat on for a second and ask yourself these rapid-fire questions. Which foot will help me escape pressure? Which foot will help me advance the ball? Which foot sets up my next pass? The absolute golden rule in these high-stress, in-game scenarios is that the proper foot to receive the ball is always, and I mean always, the foot furthest from the pressuring defender. Master that little detail and you buy yourself a massive lifeline.
And look, when it's finally time to get rid of the ball, you have to remember this rule: clear the first wave. Any pass or clearance you make absolutely must get past the opponent's first line of pressure. If you fail to clear that first wave, your team is almost always going to get caught numbers down, basically handing the opponent a highly dangerous quick transition right back towards your own goal. Seriously, don't get cute in the back, just clear that wave.
All right, Section 5, Deception and Body Language, gaining the extra margins. So now that we know how to secure the ball, let's talk about taking our game to that next elite level. Most players out there completely telegraph their passes. They stare right at the ball just as they strike it, and their very last look is exactly where they intend to play it. But smart players? They know that your eyes give everything away. So they use deception and read body language to buy themselves precious time and space.
Enter the pre-fake. The source material points out that deception isn't just a bonus, it's a prerequisite in soccer. The pre-fake is exactly what it sounds like. You use a pre-fake movement to lead your opponent in one direction, get their momentum shifting that way, and then bam, you explode in the complete opposite direction. Doing this allows you to disguise your passes, freeze the defense in their tracks, and easily escape defensive pressure, all because you're playing directly against their momentum.
Let's actually look at a highly specific in-game scenario for using this deception: the bait and switch technique. This works perfectly against long, flighted balls. First step, you've got to be a good actor. You lull the defender into a false sense of confidence, making them think they have all the time in the world. Then, you carefully read their body language. The absolute split second they decide to settle the ball instead of just clearing it, you sprint at them to create total panic. You're literally disrupting their clearance purely through mind games. It's brilliant.
Section 6. Winning the final margins. Converting chances and finishing. Because honestly, all of this high IQ buildup doesn't mean a thing if we can't actually put the ball in the back of the net. And as the source notes, consistently scoring requires a whole lot more than just having good physical shooting technique. It requires a true finisher's mindset.
So here is your tactical checklist for converting those chances. 1. Always expect the ball to find you, so your body is already positioned to shoot on that very first touch. 2. Make the goalie actually make a save. You've got to sacrifice a little bit of power for guaranteed accuracy. 3. Never shoot hand high. I mean, think about it. That's exactly where their hands already are. 4. Shoot against the goalkeeper's momentum. If you see them leaning or moving to the right, you shoot left. And 5, if you find yourself with an impossible angle, just hit it low and hard, right across the face of the goal. Force an own goal if you have to. It's all about being clinical and ruthless.
And please, never forget this undeniable truth. Rebounds win games, period. Smart forwards do not just stand there and watch their teammate take a shot. No way. They know they need to crash the goal the exact second a shot is about to be taken. By aggressively hunting for rebounds, you completely negate any advantage the opponent might have had. You just expect the ball to bounce loose, and when it inevitably does, guess what? You are already right there to tap it in.
Well, we have covered a ton of ground today, from the 90% rule and passing empathy, all the way to escaping pressure and hunting those crucial rebounds. So as we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with a bit of a locker room challenge. When you step out onto the pitch next time, I really want you to ask yourself, are you just running out there, or are you actively thinking one step ahead of the ball? Remember, true speed is in the mind. Go test your new soccer IQ out there, have some fun with it, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.